In the big village of Nkanu, everyone knew Chief Amechi. He was a wealthy man with 2 wives. His first wife was called Mama Chika, and the second wife was Mama Onyinye. Mama Chika had 2 children, Chika, her daughter, and John, her son. Mama Onyinye also had 2 children too. Onyinye, a bright young girl, and Chidera, her quiet but smart young brother. Even though Mama Chika was the first wife, she was not happy. Her daughter Chika was lazy and always failing her exams. Her son John had dropped out of school and was always hanging around bad boys. He had even been caught stealing once. But Mama Onyinye, she was always smiling. She was a devoted lover of God who prayed every morning and night. She trained her children well. Onyinye had just won a scholarship to one of the best universities in Nigeria. Chidera, her brother, was top of his class. Every time Mama Chika saw them, her heart burned with jealousy. Her heart was not at peace. One sunny afternoon, Mama Chika sat outside her hut, her eyes fixed on the dusty road that led into the village. Her wrapper was loose around her chest, and sweat gathered on her forehead, not from heat, but from thinking. Inside the house, her daughter Chika was sleeping, her books scattered around her like broken promises. John, her son, had not come home since morning. He had gone out with those same boys that always got him into trouble. God, what did I do wrong? Mama Chika mumbled, shaking her head. Why must it be me? Why are all my children misbehaving? But my co-wife, her children acts very well trained. God, do you hate me or what? She remembered how happy she was when she married Chief Amechi. She was the first wife. She had big dreams. She wanted to raise strong, educated children that would make her name proud in the village. But now, look at her life. Chika had failed her JAMB exam twice. John had been caught stealing plantains from a neighbor's farm just last week. People in the village now whispered whenever she passed. They didn't say it loud, but she knew the word on their lips: failure. Meanwhile, Mama Onyinye, that quiet, gentle second wife, was shining like the morning sun. Her daughter Onyinye had not only passed her exams, but she had also gotten a full scholarship to one of the best universities in Nigeria. Her son Chidera was not far behind. The boy always came first in class and even led morning prayers in school. Mama Chika hissed loudly and kicked a stone. She must have used something, she said under her breath. How can her children just be that perfect? No wahala, no disgrace, only success. No, something is not right. Just then, Chief Amechi returned from the farm. He walked past her without looking twice and headed straight into Mama Onyinye's part of the house. Mama Chika stood up and followed quietly. Inside, she heard Onyinye singing worship songs while preparing egusi soup. Ah, God, thank you for my children, Mama Onyinye prayed loudly. You alone have done it. Onyinye will go to the university. Chidera will be a doctor. May you keep guiding them. Mama Chika's blood boiled. So you are now praying loudly so I can hear, Abi? She muttered. You think you've won. Later that evening, the family gathered in the compound to eat. Mama Chika served her children cold rice. Mama Onyinye brought out pounded yam and vegetable soup for her children, and even served Chief Amechi with a big smile. Mama Onyinye, thank you, the chief said, licking his fingers. This your soup tastes like heaven. Even Chika and John looked at the food with envy. After eating, the chief brought out a brown envelope. Onyinye, he called. Yes, Papa, she answered and came forward. This is 20,000 naira for you. I know the scholarship covers everything, but take this for your pocket money. I'm proud of you. Mama Chika watched in silence, her fists tight. That night, she couldn't sleep. Her eyes were open in the darkness as 1,000 thoughts swam through her head. Then, a whisper came from the corner of her heart. It's not your fault. Mama Onyinye has tied your children's destiny. She is using something, maybe charm, maybe jazz, maybe voodoo. That's why your children are failing, and she wants to snatch your husband from you so that he will love only her. No, Mama Chika whispered. Do something before it's too late. Remove her from the way. Free your children. Mama Chika got up quietly and walked to her room. Her heart was filled with envy and pain. Mama Onyinye has taken everything from her. That day, she could not sleep all night. Her heart was full of thoughts. Something needs to be done fast. Then, an idea came. She will get to the root of all this. She will fight for her rights. And yes, that's her final decision. The next morning, as early as 6 a.m., Mama Chika embarked on a journey. She traveled to the next village. She went to visit Okalammo Okalammado, half human, half spirit. Okala is a powerful native doctor from the next village who is generally known for repelling evil charms. When Mama Chika arrived at Okalammo's place, the native doctor welcomed her saying, "Welcome, my daughter. I know why you are here. The gods already told me about you even before you thought of coming. I know your problem. It's your co-wife and her children. You want to eliminate them. I will help you." Mama Chika was shocked. How did the native doctor know her problems even without her speaking to him? It really means the native doctor must be a very powerful man. Mama Chika had heard about Okalammo's mighty powers, but now she has confirmed it. "Wise one, you are right. My co-wife is a witch. She took my husband from me and made my children useless, while her own children excel. I must kill her children. Help me, wise one." The native doctor smiled. "Madam, I hope you know the enormity of what you are trying to do. I hope you are really ready for this. Whatever consequences that comes with this, know that you will face it alone." Mama Chika was ready. She can't take the humiliation anymore. So, she was ready. She accepted to face any consequences alone. By so agreement, Okalammo Okalammado gave her a powdered substance. "Take this otonopo. Make sure you put it in any food that your stepchildren will eat. When they eat it, they will die slowly. Make sure you make no mistakes. This medicine is very powerful." "Thank you, Baba," Mama Chika greeted the native doctor. As she was going back home, her conscience was warning her for the implications of what she was about to do. Tears filled Mama Chika's eyes. "I'm not a killer," she whispered to herself, "but my children are dying slowly, every day. What's the difference?" She took a spoonful of the powder and hid it in a wrap of paper. The next morning, she waited until Mama Onyinye left for morning fellowship. Then she entered the other woman's kitchen and saw the pot of jollof rice on the stove. She opened it, looked around and quickly poured the powder into the food. She stirred it well, covered the pot again and left. As she walked away, her hands were shaking, her heart beating fast. She kept looking back, afraid someone had seen her, but nobody did. That morning, Mama Chika couldn't sit still. She was sweating even though the air was cool. Her hands kept shaking, and her eyes were red from lack of sleep. She sat outside pretending to pluck bitter leaf, but her mind was not there. Her eyes were fixed on Mama Onyinye's kitchen. "By now, she go don chop am," Mama Chika whispered, biting her lips. "Let her eat it, and let my children have peace again." But unknown to her, something else was already happening. Inside Mama Onyinye's kitchen, the pot of jollof rice was sitting quietly on the stove. Onyinye had cooked it before leaving for church fellowship, intending to warm it and serve it when she returned. But just minutes after she left, someone else came into the kitchen. Chika. Chika was always sneaky. She often stole small things around the house. That morning, she woke up hungry and angry. There was nothing nice to eat in her own mother's pot, just dry garri and cold water. Then she remembered the sweet aroma that came from Mama Onyinye's kitchen before. She know their house, Chika whispered to herself. Just small rice, she no go even notice. Chika tiptoed into Mama Onyinye's kitchen, opened the pot and smiled. Ah, see enjoyment. This rice too fine. She scooped a big portion onto a plate and carried it to the back of the compound where no one would see her. As she sat down to eat, her brother John arrived. Where you see that food? He asked, eyeing the plate. Chika tried to hide it. Leave me, Joe. But John was hungry too. If you no give me, I go tell Mama Onyinye say you thief her food. Chika hissed and shifted the plate. Come and eat, abeg, you too like wahala. The two of them sat on the bare floor, eating greedily. Minutes later, John popped and held his stomach. Ah, wetin be this? My belle dey turn me. Me too, Chika said, holding her chest. I feel hot. My mouth is bitter. Then suddenly, wow! Chika screamed. Blood rushed from her nose. John fell on his side, vomiting red and black liquid. John, she cried, clutching her throat. Mama, help! Their cries echoed through the compound. Mama Chika heard it and ran out. What is it? What is happening? She turned and saw her two children on the ground, foaming, crying, twisting in pain. Their clothes were stained with blood. Chika, what did you eat? Did you eat the rice from Mama Onyinye's kitchen? Yes, Mama, Chika answered. Mama Chika cried heavily. People from the village began to rush in. Mama Chika, what happened to them? Na poison be this, so somebody call the herbalist, call the chief, call everybody. Mama Onyinye returned just in time to hear the screams. She dropped her Bible and ran to the scene. Jesus, my God, what happened? Mama Chika was already on the ground holding her children and crying like a mad woman. No, no, not my children. God, please, not my children. Chief Amechi arrived with two men and pushed through the crowd. What is going on here? Chief, something bad has happened. One woman cried. Chika and John, them chop poison. Chief Amechi turned to Mama Chika. What poison? Who gave them poison? Mama Chika could not speak. She was shaking, her lips trembling. But one of the women had something to say. I see Chika sneak enter Mama Onyinye's kitchen this morning. Maybe she chopped something wey no be her own. Mama Onyinye gasped. Oh my God! I made jollof rice this morning, but I didn't even eat it yet. Everyone's eyes turned to Mama Chika. Her heart stopped. She couldn't speak. She couldn't breathe. Suddenly, the chief shouted, Get the herbalist! Get the pastors! Do something! The crowd carried the two children into the compound, trying everything, charcoal, palm oil, prayers, but the children kept crying, vomiting and shaking. Mama Chika fell to the ground and screamed, God, punish me! God, forgive me! Mama Onyinye looked at her, confused. What are you saying? Mama Chika grabbed her wrapper and covered her face. She knew the truth. The food she poisoned for Onyinye, her own children had eaten it. The whole village was in chaos. Women were crying. Men were shouting. Children ran up and down the compound, trying to understand what was happening. But inside the chief's compound, it was different kind of pain. Chika and John lay on mats in the sitting room. Their bodies were weak. Blood and spit covered their mouths. Their eyes rolled like marbles. Mama Chika sat beside them, her hands shaking. She had not said a word in over 30 minutes. Her wrapper was loose. Her hair was scattered. Her mouth kept opening and closing like she wanted to confess, but fear held her tongue. The herbalist came in, a short man with a beard like forest roots. He bent over the children and sniffed their mouths. He tested the vomit with a wooden stick, spat it out, and hissed. "This is not ordinary food poison," he said. "This one is from a charm, something spiritual, something strong." The people gasped. Mama Onyinye jumped up. "Charm? You mean someone tried to kill them?" The herbalist nodded. "Yes, this is not a mistake. Someone put poison meant to destroy." Chief Amechi turned slowly, his eyes full of confusion and fear. "But who would want to kill my children?" he asked. There was silence in the room. You could hear a pin drop. Then one of the old women, Mama Nkechi, stepped forward. She had been in the compound since morning, watching everything. She didn't talk much, but when she did, everyone listened. She looked straight at Mama Chika. "Mama Chika, you are the only one who has been quarreling with Mama Onyinye. You always say her children are shining too much, that she is using something to make your own children fail." Everyone turned to look at Mama Chika. Even Chief Amechi's eyes were now on her. She trembled. "I never said that." Mama Nkechi cut her off. "You did. Last week, you came to my backyard crying that Mama Onyinye must be using juju because her children are always first in class and your own son was caught stealing somebody's phone." Mama Chika stood up suddenly. Is it a crime to complain? Are we not allowed to talk again in this village? Mama Onyinye looked at her with tears in her eyes. "So you think I used something evil on your children? Is that what your heart has told you?" Mama Chika looked away. She couldn't face her. Chief Amechi shouted, "Enough! If anyone here knows something, speak now or leave my house." Then a voice came from behind. It was Chika. Her voice was faint but clear. Mama, I ate the rice in Mama Onyinye's kitchen." Everyone turned. Mama Chika rushed to her daughter. "Chika, don't talk. Save your strength." But Chika grabbed her mother's wrist. "Mama, I saw you entering Mama Onyinye's kitchen, but I didn't know what you went there to do. I thought you went there to eat her food, so that made me to go there to eat my own portion of the food." The entire room froze. Mama Chika's mouth fell open. Chief Amechi stood still, his face pale like ashes. "What? This means Mama Chika knows something about the poison." John turned his head slowly, coughing blood. "She poisoned it for Onyinye, but we ate it." A deep silence fell. It was like the earth itself stopped breathing. Then Mama Onyinye took a step back, as if lightning had struck her. "Mama Chika, you tried to kill me and my children." Mama Chika collapsed on the floor. She bursted into tears, shaking like a leaf in the harmattan wind. "I didn't mean for this to happen. I just want peace in my house. My children are suffering. You know your children are shining like stars. I thought you used something on them. I just want to stop it." Chief Amechi roared. "So you tried to kill them in this same house under my roof?" He kicked the stool beside him. It flew and hit the wall. Mama Chika held his leg, crying, I am sorry, my husband. Please forgive me. It was jealousy. I didn't know what I was doing." Mama Onyinye was now sobbing loudly. My God. So all this while, this woman was planning to kill me." The villagers began to murmur. Some were angry, some were crying. Some said she should be taken to the king. Others said, "No, let the police come and carry her." One of the elders said, "This is an abomination. To poison your fellow wife's food. You want to make her husband a widower. You wanted to turn her children into orphans." Chief Amechi sat down slowly, his hands covering his face. He was broken, shattered. 2 of his children were dying, and his first wife was the one behind it. He raised his head and said, I want the elders to meet tonight. Let them decide what should be done. He turned to the herbalist. Please, do everything you can to save my children. I will pay anything. The herbalist nodded and got to work. But no one could focus. The shame, the pain, the betrayal. Mama Chika sat in a corner, crying and shaking. As night came, the compound remained full. The lights of lanterns danced on the walls. But in the middle of all the darkness was the sound of Chika's cough and the slow-fading breaths of John. The whole village didn't sleep that night. Lantern burned bright in Chief Amechi's compound. People gathered in small groups whispering. Children were sent to bed, but some hid behind windows, eyes wide with fear and curiosity. The news had spread like wildfire. Mama Chika poisoned food meant for Mama Onyinye, but her own children ate it. Inside the big compound, a strong smell of herbs filled the air. The herbalist was still with Chika and John, pouring bitter roots down their throats and burning incense to drive out death. But the children were barely moving. Chika's body shook from cold sweats. John coughed violently. Blood stained his lips and chest. Mama Onyinye sat in one corner, tears rolling down her face. She held her Bible tightly, whispering prayers through trembling lips. Mama Onyinye, one woman, whispered, You should not even be here. What if the poison still affects you too? Mama Onyinye looked up. Her voice was calm but broken. If not for God, I would be the one on that mat right now. Chief Amechi was pacing the floor like a lion in a cage. His heart was heavy. His head was pounding. He looked at Mama Chika, who now sat on the cold floor like a prisoner, her eyes swollen from crying, her wrapper dusty, her voice hoarse. Mama Chika, he said finally, why? She opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Just more tears. Chief Amechi turned to the elders who had arrived and were seated in judgment. The eldest, Papa Obunna, stood and raised his hand. Let us hear from Mama Chika. Let her confess in front of the gods and the people. All eyes turned to her again. Slowly, Mama Chika stood up. Her legs were shaking. She looked like a shadow of herself. She wiped her tears with the edge of her wrapper and began to speak. I never planned to kill my children, she said, her voice cracking. I was jealous. Jealousy entered my heart like a snake. It whispered lies to me every day. The crowd was silent. She continued. I would see Mama Onyinye's children come home with first position. Mine were always last. I begged John to stop following bad friends. I prayed for Chika to study, but she didn't care. She shook her head. Then, I started thinking, maybe Mama Onyinye was using something. Maybe she used juju to blind my children. Every night I cried. Every morning I hated her more. One day, I visited Okalammo Okalammado, the powerful native doctor down the next village, for solution. He gave me a powder, which I put in Mama Onyinye's food. But unfortunately, my children ate it. She fell to her knees. But God caught me. My own children ate my wickedness. My wickedness came to punish me. She bent her head to the floor and cried. Papa Obunna's face was hard. Mama Chika, do you know what you have done? You have broken the sacred peace of marriage. You have brought shame to womanhood. You have touched death with your own hands. Mama Chika wept louder. Forgive me, please. Forgive me. Chief Amechi stood and shouted, if they die, my children, what forgiveness will be enough? He looked around the room. Where is the local chief? Where is the palace messenger? This matter must go before the king. One of the men replied, the Igwe has already heard the news. He has summoned a council meeting tomorrow morning. Everyone nodded, but just then, a loud scream shook the room. It was the herbalist. He stood over John's body. Something is happening. His eyes have closed. Mama Chika ran like a mad woman to the mat. She touched her son's chest. No movement. She shouted, "John, my son, wake up, wake up." She shook him, slapped him, cried and screamed. Chika sat up quickly and cried, "Brother, no, don't go." Mama Onye also rushed forward, holding Chika in her arms. The herbalist began chanting and pouring more herbs into John's mouth. Chief Amechi stood frozen, tears running down his cheeks. Everyone in the compound knelt down, praying and begging the gods. But it was too late. John had given up the ghost. He's gone. He's dead. I've done my best, but it was not enough. Only the girl will survive. But as for the boy, he has gone to be with the ancestors. He ate more from the food, and the poison have beaten all her intestines. The good news is the girl will survive, but the boy, he has gone to be with the ancestors. Mama Chika collapsed beside her son, crying. The whole compound burst into tears, but even in the morning moments, the judgment was not forgotten. The elders turned back to Mama Chika. One of them said, "Even though your son is dead, the evil in your heart cannot be ignored." Papa Obonna nodded. "Tomorrow, you will face the king. You will explain yourself to the entire village." Then he turned to the crowd. "Let this be a lesson to every woman. Jealousy is poison. Wickedness destroys from within." Mama Chika was led away to the back room, guided. Chief Amechi followed the herbalist to see what else could be done. Mama Onye held her daughter and prayed with gratitude. But in the hearts of everyone present, one thing was clear. The fire of envy nearly destroyed a home, and the scars it left behind would never be forgotten. The next day, the village had just received the painful news. John was gone. Despite the herbalist's efforts, despite the prayers and the herbs, despite his brief moments of life the night before, he didn't survive. At dawn, his breath stopped, and this time, it did not return. Mama Chika's only son, the same boy she had shouted at to behave, the same boy she wanted to succeed so badly, was gone, killed by her own hands. When the town crier rang his bell and shouted through the streets, people poured out from their houses. "Let everyone gather at the palace. The king has summoned a meeting. The matter of Mama Chika and the poisoned children will be judged today." By afternoon, the king's palace was filled. Women sat under trees with their hands on their heads. Men folded their arms, shaking their heads in silence. Children peeped through corners, their eyes filled with fear. The king, Igwe Ogadagidi, sat on his carved stool, his red cap fame on his head, his eyes burning with disappointment. The chiefs were seated in a circle around him. Chief Amechi was there too, his eyes hollow with pain. Then they brought Mama Chika in. She looked like someone who hadn't slept in days. Her wrapper was loose, her hair scattered, her eyes swollen like a woman who had cried a river. Two palace guards stood beside her. The king looked at her in silence for a long time. Then he finally spoke. "Mama Chika, the gods are angry." She fell to her knees. "Please, Igwe, have mercy. I have lost my son. I have lost everything." "Yes, you still breathe," the king said. "Your child is gone, but you are alive. And you know who killed him." Tears flowed freely as she cried. I did, my king. My wickedness has come back to destroy me. Please forgive me." The king raised his hand for silence. He looked at Chief Amechi. "What do you want done to this woman?" Chief Amechi stood up, his voice low but firm. "I loved her. I married her. She bore me children, but I cannot live with a murderer. She poisoned food out of jealousy. Her own children ate it. Now my son is dead. I want justice." The king nodded. He stood, and the village was silent. Mama Chika, he said, you are hereby banished from Nkano village. You must leave today before sunset and never return. Screams filled the air. Some women clapped. Some shook their heads. Mama Chika has destroyed her own destiny. She is finished. The king's voice thundered over the noise. If you are seen again in this land, the gods will strike you. The ancestors will not protect you. You have brought shame to your husband's house, to this entire village, to womanhood and to motherhood. 2 guards pulled Mama Chika to her feet. She was too weak to stand. She collapsed to the ground again, begging, please, Igwe, please, let me bury my son before I go. But the king shook his head. You have buried yourself already. Go, leave before the sun touches the hills. Chief Amechi refused to look at her. Mama Onyinye turned away, holding her daughter tightly. The people watched in silence as Mama Chika was dragged out of the palace. She didn't even look like a human being again. Dust clung to her feet. Her wrapper dragged behind her. Tears poured like rain. Her voice broke the silence of the crowd. Forgive me, but no one answered. By sunset, she had already disappeared from the village road into the forest paths that led away from Nkano forever. And in that moment, the village breathed again, but not in joy, in sorrow. A home had been broken. A child had died. Even though Chika survived, now Chika will grow without her mother. As for Mama Chika, she had lost everything. She will wander in the evil forest, or God knows where. She will never set her eyes again on her children, all because of the poison called jealousy.